hard to believe the 90s were over 30 years ago at this point. We used to browse the arcade, play on the 2p machines, and most importantly, we used to play light gun games such as Time Crisis and obviously the House of the Dead. The latter of which only ever got a home console release on the Sega Saturn, which by the way is not a real console. Anyway, and of course, Sega lost the original code for the original House of the Dead whilst moving offices. Fast forward 30 years and we have a ground-up remake that for some reason I decided to play on the Nintendo Switch. Right off the bat, I decided to adjust all the settings and play with the light gun I got off my friend James, who I haven't actually paid yet for this. James, I haven't forgotten, I'm so sorry, just life gets in the way. Please don't break my legs. Please! However, this is where the issue started. Obviously, the console doesn't have a sensor bar, so you're aiming exclusively with the gyroscope whilst you play. You know, it's weird because there is like, if you look here, no, it's not on this Joy-Con, it's on the other Joy-Con. I'll show you a picture. There is a little IR sensor on the end of the controller. So I wonder why we couldn't use that to sort of help with the aiming on the TV. I don't know. I'm not a computer scientist. But anyway, so you're using the gyroscope to aim, and it's not very accurate. In fact, there's a lot of gyroscope drift whilst you're playing, which makes aiming at specific points on the enemies or just in the level in general extremely difficult. So getting headshots, saving civilians, getting the coins, you can forget about it. And also, with this method, every time you shoot, the marker, you know, your cursor actually jolts up a bit. And it's not a feature of the game. It's because whenever you're pressing the button, you just naturally move your hand slightly. And it just feels... It sounds like it's a skill issue, saying out loud, but it's not. It's just bad. Whoa! Didn't see you there! So with the lack of sensor bar, the gyro drift, and the way it jerks whenever you shoot just makes it extremely difficult. It makes the most fun way that you could have playing this game the most frustrating way. And it took a lot of enjoyment of the game out of it for me. So I decided to use gyro in my Neo S controller instead. By the way, if you don't have one of these controllers, they're absolutely fantastic. So using the gyro on this is a lot better. You've got the stability, you can rest your elbows and sort of tilt the controller like that, whilst aiming and shooting with a ZR and reloading with ZL. It made it so much easier to play. And then on certain boss battles where it was still a bit difficult using the gyro, you can just switch to just using the analog, just to shoot them in that specific point, and then switch back to gyro for the hard sections. Now, as this has been a remake and the original code is gone, as I mentioned earlier, everything was remade from the ground up. Now, I can confirm that the voice acting, whilst not as cheesily delivered as the original, is still present. And it is still as cringy as Resident Evil.
There's no way out, Kyrian.
I must admit, I really respect your consistency.
And also, whilst the music was panned by critics, I actually quite enjoy it. It actually reminds me of ghouls and goblins. There's plenty of variety of monsters in Hotter. Okay, I'm never saying it like that again. Let's just call it House from this point on. My favourite is when it's raining men. Also, what in the Nightmare on Elm Street is that? And one of the bosses in this game is actually based on my most favourite Batman villain, Man-Bat. Or at least I like to think it is. This is probably the closest I'll ever get to Man-Bat in, well, outside of the regular comic books. And you need to read the Man-Bat comic book series. It is fantastic. One of my favourites.
I'll finish you there.
Seriously, go read Man Bat. And also, in pure 90s fashion, when it comes to making a zombie anything, they made sure they hit every single cliche. Mad scientist, check.
I must admit, I really respect your consistency. But you will never, ever defeat me.
Giant spider, check. Useless damsel in distress, checkaroo.
You okay?
Thank you.
Corny voice acting, check.
Everything is over. I have nothing more to lose. However, I must go on.
Creepy mansion, check. Opening doors with guns, checkaroo. Zombie decks, hurroo, check. Rough. Overall, it's a fun game. Is it perfect? Not in the slightest. I do not recommend playing it by yourself. It's much better with friends, for sure. It's short, you could technically finish it in an afternoon, but if you're like me and you struggle with the controls, it may take you a frustratingly long amount of time whilst you get a hang of the controls, I suppose. But once you get past the dodgy controls, it's a fairly easy game and it's a lot of fun. And to be quite honest, like, I won't lie, I ended up using the turbo function on my controller just to keep shooting, and you can turn the reload into automatic as well. So you basically weren't walking through the game with a machine gun, which was quite awesome, if I'm quite honest. I mean, all you hear is reload, 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 reload.
Reload! 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 Reload!
It's a fun weekend game. 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next Saturday. Bye! Whoa! Didn't see you there! 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 Do a couple takes, see how it goes.